Hey everybody, I am
Your
Ginger.
sister can help us.
This is what to
Although
play
just
next.
a handmaiden, she has Marjorie Tyrell's favour. And Lady Marjorie's betrothal to the king may be enough to keep the Boltons at bay. If it's presented to her as it should be.
The graphics go up with each chapter. This is actually HBO backstory after the Red Wedding. So drop us a like and subscribe and stay tuned. What we're doing is hitting the highlights. So if there's something that goes on in one of the lesser houses that is really just gameplay, I'm pretty much skipping over it. This is everything that has to do with the characters that you know.
Ethan made this for me.
I thought it was cool what happened, behind the scenes. This is, for instance, House Forrester, which is one of the lesser houses that
Asher
rode
sent
under
me
the
this
Starks.
to remember him. What a strange place, Essos.
It's a lesser noble house, so obviously they served. This will be her mother's letter. They're in trouble for riding under the Starks.
Father.
It's right after the Red Wedding.
Much excitement here in King's Landing for the coming wedding. Lady Marjorie has proven to be quite popular throughout the city. I do wish you and Mother could come, although I know it would be impossible under the circumstances. I miss all of you, and I look forward to the day you can.
There's some interesting things because you do get to interact with it.
It was very kind of Lady Marjorie to give this to me.
She's serving as
The
one
ones
of
belong to Lady Elena.
Lady Marjorie's handmaidens. There's a lot more politics than they show in the show. It's a lot more about the war aspect, but there is a significant amount of gossip and
Wonders Made by Man by Lomas Longstrider.
social
A
maneuvering.
gift from Roderick. I hope to see them all someday.
Her brother just died at the Red Wedding, so... Like I said, it is a lesser
King's Landing.
house.
I wonder if it's sunny at Ironrath today.
That's why they're placing her close to the throne, is they have to keep their position secure. They can hypothetically do something like marry up, but it's unlikely. Things in Europe are a lot more fixed than they are in America. In
It
America,
troubles me to even ask this of you, but you must appeal to Lady Marjorie to intervene on our behalf. She is our best hope, and can be a powerful ally, especially now when your family so desperately needs her help.
so she's the oldest daughter. She's expected to serve Lady Marjorie, but she can also socially maneuver and help her house, and she's expected to do that as well. So she has a significant amount of social power as far as her house goes. Chicks definitely did a lot more stuff like
One
that,
moment.
and they still do in Europe. In America, it's a little bit odd.
Sorry, milady.
Because you can make
I
upper
didn't mean to
class.
disturb you. I can come back later if you'd like.
No, it's fine. Come in.
He doesn't look like a page, and that really bothers me. He should have some sort of livery on. He doesn't. I mean, the
Begging your
king
pardon, milady, but
was a drunk,
you
but
alright?
I don't think he dressed him like that.
If you don't mind my asking, you seem rather upset.
I'm fine, thank you.
Of course, milady.
It's a common American trope that you talk to the servants.
Please hurry if you can.
Even in our
Lady
upper class
Marjorie will be here
households.
any minute.
Of course.
You really don't. That familiarity is cute, but it's made for movies and for
You work for
fairy
Lady Marjorie?
tales.
I may be wrong, but it seems like you do.
It's widely known that I work for Lady Marjorie.
I've seen you with her before. You seem like good friends.
So if you put it in that context and
I
then you
saw
look at
Lady
his
Marjorie
clothing,
just this morning, outside the royal sept, talking to Queen Cersei.
Cersei?
he might have some gossip for her, but she shouldn't chill out
They appeared
anything.
to be having some sort of disagreement. I couldn't hear much, but
What did they say?
I couldn't make out much, but I know they were talking about the Starks and House Forrester.
House Forrester?
So he's looking for,
I hope you're not in any kind of trouble. But I thought you ought to know.
the biggest
Most people don't
difference
tend to notice a call boy. Not in King's Landing.
in
with so many
America, they
lords
put
and
their
ladies
hand
around.
out. He's looking
See
for
and hear all
favor.
sorts of things when people don't even know you're there.
He wants her to, like, Give him a leg up.
Good night, my lady.
My grandfather was European, obviously, so he, he taught his girls how it goes.
Lady Marjorie, you're early.
I was hoping there would be time for us to talk. Come, there's something we must discuss.
So Marjorie is in effect. She's getting married, but she's not popular with the queen. Queen is the real power behind the throne.
I've thought of you more as a friend
sure you
than
know
as my
that.
handmaiden. A dear friend, in fact.
Thank you, my lady.
She's making
And
up
you
to the
know how
north.
I feel about what's happened to your family. I feel your pain as if it were my own.
They're
What
very
you've suffered is beyond imagining.
political
And your
family.
poor family as well.
You're very kind, my lady.
Of course, Mira, but you must not despair. We will get through this together.
When they're social and political, you kind
You
of
must
wait.
understand there are limits to what I can say, especially here in King's Landing, now that I am to be queen.
She'll say her piece.
To have a handmaiden from the north whose family fought for Robb Stark. It
And she's
raises
setting
questions
boundaries.
at a time I can least afford. Cersei herself cornered me this morning outside the royal sept. She mentioned the northern girl in my service, and she painted you a traitor. She was very pleased with herself.
I'm not a traitor.
Of course not. It's only an excuse to torment you, and by extension, me. She demands an audience. She wants an apology of some sort, for what I don't know, but she's waiting for us now, and I promised I would bring you to her. I wouldn't ask this of you if it were not important. I cannot afford any conflict with Cersei with the wedding so near.
I'll do as you ask, my lady.
I knew I could trust you. Humor her. Tell her what she wants to hear. See if the Queen Regent is ready to receive us. You'll be fine. I know you will. You may feel one thing, but you must say another.
And they kind of coach you through it. This is an American-made game, so
Good luck.
everybody kind of knows this isn't exactly how we do things. Social clubs and whatnot, you'll run into it a little bit. But, for people who want to buy the game or who are watching the series, this is going to be kind of counterintuitive.
You can do this.
Because really what we're going to do is go in there and just kind of smooth things over. So, Robb Stark died. He was murdered. Doesn't matter.
Ah, Lady Marjorie. Aren't you looking
We're
lovely
under the
this
Boltons and them.
Lord Tyrion. Your Grace?
We lost.
With your permission, allow me to introduce Lady Mira of House Forrester.
I have family and I'm a female, so I can maneuver. There's no shame in it.
I am honored, Your Grace.
Yet not honored enough to kneel, I see.
House Forrester is a northern house loyal to the king.
Are they?
I beg your pardon,
We
Your
usually
Grace.
do.
I wasn't
one.
talking to you. I want to hear from the girl. Is your family loyal to the king?
Perhaps you should ask the new Lord Forrester.
He's not here, is he? She is.
House Forrester's loyalty to the crown never wavers, Your
I
Grace.
also want Marjorie to know that
I
I'll back
see.
her.
And yet, for centuries the Forresters have been loyal bannermen to House Stark. A house of traitors.
They were the wardens of the north. We all served at the pleasure of the king.
Clever girl.
That's why he's an interesting
Perhaps too
character.
clever for her own good.
He's very
The girl
outspoken.
did say their loyalty was unwavering.
She has a talent for equivocation, yet I question what she really thinks. Is your house willing to swear fealty to your new liege lord, Roose Bolton?
Duh.
Yes, Your Grace. Absolutely.
No, we all want
I
to
see.
die.
Despite the fact Roose Bolton allied with Walder Frey. If it was me, I'd find it difficult to so quickly forgive the men who killed my
When a
father.
war's over, a war's over. That's pretty much how Northerners are.
Old allegiances are not easily abandoned. But now that the war is over, we must look to rebuild and forge new alliances. There are ships and shields to be built, and Joffrey will need a steady supply of ironwood for his armies. I'm told there are others who would happily serve that purpose, but I trust we can rely on House Forrester.
Forrester Ironwood does seem rather unique.
Yes, Your Grace.
It would be a shame to see it fall into the hands of another house. I imagine you'd do almost anything to prevent that from happening, wouldn't you? Ask any Lannister, and they'd do whatever was
He looks
necessary
like he
to
wants
save
to move.
Casterly Rock. It would be unfortunate to see another house lay claim to what's yours.
Yes, Your Grace. I would do anything.
I see.
What would you have the girl do, Cersei? It's not as if she fought beside the Starks, wielding a battle axe for the Northern Army.
It raises an interesting question, I suppose. Can we truly blame those who end up on the wrong side of the war? Our dear Marjorie here was betrothed to Renly Baratheon on the false assumption that he would one day rule the Seven Kingdoms. Can we fault her for her mistake? Should she be held accountable?
She was just following her heart, Your Grace.
And the very same heart so quickly led her to my son.
If there's a point to this, I hope you find it quickly.
I'm playing to him.
Loyalty can be such a hard thing to define.
She's the one.
This city alone is filled with all sorts of ambitious opportunists looking to reinvent themselves,
He's the one she's
pretending to be
listening
something
to.
they're not. Who knows what lurks within their heart?
She's never gonna trust me.
You are a girl from the north, here in service to Lady Marjorie. One can only assume her interests are yours. Yet loyalty to a king, that must be absolute, beyond question.
Now she's
And
telling
if
me
your
what to say.
loyalties were to become conflicted between your king and the very person whom you serve, what would you do then?
I'm sure she
Let the
would...
girl answer the question.
I would be true to the king, Your Grace.
Well said. I was beginning to worry you didn't have your priorities straight.
She is a threat to the crown, isn't she? The most dangerous handmaiden in all of King's Landing.
My sense is this girl will say almost anything to get what she wants. Which is not very encouraging. I'd like a word with you, if I may.
Of course, Your Grace.
I'll walk you out. This may come as a surprise, but I met your father once, at the tourney at Lannisport. Even then he didn't trust Roose Bolton. We only spoke briefly, but your father struck me as an honorable man. You have my condolences for his loss.
Thank you, Lord Tyrion.
You
That's
don't go
very kind
throwing
of you to
yourself
say.
at anyone.
That certainly took courage. To so publicly declare your loyalty to Joffrey for all to hear. Poor Lady Marjorie was humiliated, although Cersei seemed quite pleased. It was quite the first impression. I, of course, found it all highly entertaining.
I was trying to appease her.
I think that was clear to everyone. My sister and I have our differences. She takes great pleasure in her little charades. I take mine in thwarting them. We must find our amusements where we can. She threatened to give your ironwood to another house. It is the Master of Coin who decides such matters. The crown needs boats. Boats need wood, and I speak for the crown in this regard, not her.
What are you suggesting?
I suppose the crown could be persuaded to secure ironwood from House Forrester. Lady Marjorie might not look favorably on such an alliance, and it would infuriate Cersei. Although what would be amusing for me might prove rather dangerous for you and your house. Are you willing to risk that?
It's a risk I'm willing to take, Lord Tyrion. Please.
You are a brave girl, aren't you?
She secures her house.
I'll consider it.
He doesn't give her
Now, if
anything.
you'll excuse me, I promised Sansa I would join her for dinner tonight. 3 beautiful bottles of Dornish wine await my arrival.
I hope we meet again.
Nothing would make Cersei happier. Until then, be careful. This is not the North. King's Landing can be a nest of vipers to the uninitiated.
He seems kind. I think he's just ambitious. I've always gotten that from him. Interesting character. Well, I am Anjindra. This is what to play next. Drop us a like and subscribe, and we'll keep going with the major characters.